I will be taking very short time of yours, say 3 to 5 minutes, just for the introduction. On behalf of Abacus Consulting, I would like to thank each one of you for taking your valuable time out to attend this session. My name is Imran Rahmani. I head the sales in Abacus LAS. LAS is basically large account services. Abacus Consulting, as you may be aware, is one of the largest SAP partners in Pakistan. Abacus has been in the consulting business for more than 30 years now. To be exact, I believe 33 years. Although Abacus is one of the largest SAP partners, it is not just about SAP. Abacus is not just about SAP. We are basically spread far beyond that. We have 12 different practices. SAP LAS is just one of them. Besides this, we are also into digital transformation solutions, cloud and emerging technologies, human capital solutions, strategy and corporate finance, business process outsourcing, human resource outsourcing, etc. There are more practices as well. In Abacus LAS, that is large account services, we sell and implement SAP all-in-one. It is also called SAP S/4HANA, the latest version. Besides this, our focus is now tilting towards the emerging technologies like Ariba, SuccessFactors, SEC. SEC is basically SAP Analytics Cloud, IBP, Integrated Business Planning. CX is basically the CRM version of SAP, etc. So on and so forth. Our major customers include almost all of the descos across Pakistan, like K Electric, it's Islamabad Electric, Faisalabad Electric Company, it's Multan Electric Company, Gujranwala Electric Company, Sakhar Electric Company was the last one of the descos we signed. Besides the descos, we have companies like Jazz, Afiniti, Descon, PPL, FFC. In FMCGs, we have National Foods, Shan Foods, Volca Foods. Then we have PEL, we have United Energy Pakistan. In pharmaceuticals, we have Martin Doe Pharmaceuticals, Getz Pharma, Sami Pharma, Aisha Steel, Amreli Steel, and we have some international clients as well. Some of them are Gulf Specialized Works and National Unified Procurement Company in KSA. And we have Karwanchi, one of the largest FMCG companies in Iraq. So basically, when you go through our customer list, you will find that Abacus has worked across various industries on SAP and other products as well. And we work locally as well as internationally. We have 2,500 plus people in our team across Abacus. We have more than 10 offices in 5 countries, UAE, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, United Kingdom, United States, and of course in Pakistan we have offices in Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. We have planned a series of webinars basically in the coming month. Basically the webinars about the various SAP products like Ariba, SuccessFactors, Integrated Business Planning, TRM. TRM is basically treasury management. Then we have SAP Analytics Cloud. These webinars spread across, say, in the next 15-20 days. This will give you the idea about what these products are, what the upcoming SAP technologies are. Today is basically the first of the 2 webinars we've planned for Ariba. We will be focusing on Ariba sourcing today only. The session in today's session, and the next session we have planned for Ariba supplier lifecycle and vendor management. Apart from that, I'd just like to, if you'd like to make a note of it, we also have planned another SuccessFactors session covering performance and goals management on December 1st, 2020. And the next Ariba session, that is for supplier lifecycle and vendor management, that is on the 3rd of December. So 1st of December is SuccessFactors. If any one of you is interested in getting information about SuccessFactors, you can join. We'll be sharing the registration links for both the sessions with you. So coming back to today's Ariba sourcing session, I would like to introduce my colleague Murtaz Ali Khan, consultant for SAP Ariba Sourcing, Contracts, Snap, P2P, and DocuSign, the e-signature software. Murtaz has also been a part of SAP Ariba Sourcing implementation at PEL, UEP, and Afiniti. Secondly, he's also worked on SAP Ariba contracts and DocuSign implementation at Jazz. Murtaz will be the one who will be leading the session today, and he'll be supported in the session by Hamza Ghani Qureshi. Hamza has worked on SAP Ariba Sourcing and SAP Ariba, and he's also an SAP Ariba integration consultant. Hamza has been a part of SAP Ariba Sourcing implementation at UEP, United Energy Pakistan, and Afiniti. At Jazz, he played the key role in the integration of SAP Ariba contracts with Oracle NetSuite. He is currently the only consultant in Pakistan with successful integration reference of SAP Ariba with non-SAP ERP. That's very important, actually. We will also be joined by our esteemed guest during the session, Mr. Abdul Ahad. He is the Senior Procurement Operations and Excellence Officer at UEP. He'll be speaking about his experience while working with Abacus as their procurement transformation partner. I once again thank all of you for taking time out to attend this session. I can assure you that the next 55 minutes of your time will be very interesting for you in terms of enhancing knowledge about SAP Ariba. I'm now handing over the stage to Murtaz. Over to you, Murtaz. Best of luck.
Thank you, Sir Imran, for the introduction. As Sir Imran mentioned, for SAP Ariba Solutions, Abacus is the leading partner with many references in SAP Ariba Sourcing, Contracts Management, and Supplier Lifecycle and Performance. Today, we will be discussing how to address your profitability through SAP Ariba Sourcing. In this webinar, we will be addressing how you can manage your spend through SAP Ariba for rapid and sustainable savings. Although we have a dedicated 10-minute session at the end of the webinar for Q&A, but feel free to ask any question at any moment of time by writing it into the chat box. You can optionally raise your hand if you want to speak about something. Let's get to the topic. So as discussed, we will be discussing today the address your profitability through SAP Ariba. So agenda for today's session will be covering the introduction of the need for SAP Ariba. Then we will moving forward to SAP Ariba Sourcing Solutions. In the solution, we will be discussing solution capabilities. And then at the end, we will be sharing our experiences with different customers and our references in Pakistan. So for the introduction part, we will be covering the pain points that led us towards SAP Ariba Sourcing, why companies need SAP Ariba Solutions, and what are the different offerings from SAP Ariba. Then we will be discussing what values SAP adds to your source to pay cycle, including your sourcing, your buying, your invoicing, your contracting, your supplier lifecycle and management. Then moving forward to SAP Ariba Sourcing, we will be focusing on what are the integrated processes of the sourcing. Then we will talk about SAP Ariba Discovery. We will share a video with you in which we will be discussing a value proposition that SAP Ariba offers. We will discuss the process flow and then moving towards the solution capabilities and our customers. That being said, let's start our today's topic. Okay, so the problem that organization faced that led us towards SAP Ariba or any solution for our sourcing and procurement were the failure to understand detailed spends and identification and prioritizing your saving opportunities. There was a lack of market, commodity, operational and contractual information available for the organizations. Then we had we were unable to identify quality suppliers, identify different opportunities for source of suppliers. Inadequate supply information and onboarding required execution for the strategic processes. For the information about suppliers, as Imran Rahmani already said, हमने उसके लिए मजीद सेशंस प्लान किए हुए हैं जिसके अंदर सप्लायर लाइफ साइकिल एंड परफॉर्मेंस के ऊपर हम डिस्कस करेंगे. उसके अंदर सारे सप्लायर्स के कौन से सेशंस हैं, सप्लायर्स के क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकते हैं, क्या क्या KPIs हैं, उनके डिलीवरी टाइम्स एंड एक्सेट्रा को हम डिस्कस करेंगे. फिर जो लैक ऑफ नॉलेजेबल रिसोर्सेज था कि मार्केट की क्या बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, इंटरनेशनल मार्केट की क्या बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, लोकल मार्केट की क्या बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, उन सबको अंडरस्टैंड तो बहुत अच्छे तरीके से किया जा रहा था, लेकिन उसको रियलाइजेशन की तरफ लेके जाने में जो प्रॉब्लम्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को फेस आ रही थी, तो दीज वर सम प्रॉब्लम्स दैट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस वर फेसिंग। लकीली हमारे पास इसका बेस्ट सोल्यूशन था which was SAP Ariba Solution, SAP Ariba Strategic Solution. So at SAP Ariba Strategic Solution के अंदर is a dynamic platform which help organizations to manage their spends by enhancing their supplier base, by negotiating the best deals. फिर इसके अंदर आपको सप्लायर प्रोफाइल मैनेजमेंट मिल जाती है, जो कि एक बहुत वैल्यू एडिशन होती है फॉर किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए। we observed that 63 to 89% of the जो organizations के अंदर प्रॉब्लम फेस की जाती है वो सप्लायर डाटा पे की जाती है। आपके कुछ पीओसीज होते हैं वो चले जाते हैं, आपके पास उनकी इंफॉर्मेशन को री-ऐड करना और उन चीज़ों को मैनेज करना एक बहुत बड़ा कंसर्न और इशू था ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए। So with SAP Ariba, you don't have to worry about it. You just create a supplier on SAP Ariba, which is linked with the SAP Ariba network account. और वहां से वो सप्लायर को बेनिफिट ये है कि ही इज अवेलेबल फॉर अदर मार्केट, और उसकी कोई भी इंफॉर्मेशन चेंज, उसके सर्टिफिकेट्स चेंज, उसका एड्रेस चेंज, लोकेशन चेंज ऑटोमेटिकली आपके अरीबा पे रिफ्लेक्ट हो जाती है। Then SAP Ariba offers digital sourcing capabilities which are very easy. A visit based tool जिसके थ्रू आपको सारी उसके ऊपर इंफॉर्मेशन मिल जाती है, स्टेप बाय स्टेप गाइडेंस मिल जाती है थ्रू SAP Ariba टूल, और आप अपनी RFPs को, आप अपनी ऑप्शंस को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से क्रिएट कर सकते हैं, जिसके अंदर आप अपनी स्टैंडर्ड्स को और बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस को यूज करते हैं। इसकी एक एग्जांपल जिस तरह इमरान रहमानी ने बताया, Afiniti was the project of Abacus, जिसके अंदर हमने ऑप्शन और RFP के ऊपर मेजर फोकस था। द ऑब्जेक्टिव वाज कि शॉर्टर सोर्सिंग साइकिल, alhamdulillah they can create their RFP within 5 minutes now. तो ये सोर्सिंग कैपेबिलिटीज उनको SAP Ariba की तरफ से मिली। देन कंप्लायंट थ्रू योर वर्क फ्लो, आपके सारे बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस को फॉलो किया जाता है। जो आपके अप्रूवल फ्लोज है बेस्ड ऑन योर नॉमिनल अमाउंट, बेस्ड ऑन डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स, SAP Ariba provide you the functionality to add as many approvers as you need. You can add 100 approvers, 100 reviewers at the same time for a single document, not a problem. SAP Ariba की तरफ से आपको थ्रू आउट योर लाइफ टाइम, जब तक आप SAP Ariba के लाइसेंसेस यूज करते हैं, सोर्सिंग इवेंट सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड की जाती है, इवेंट डे मैनेजमेंट प्रोवाइड की जाती है। SAP के एक्सपर्ट्स आपके साथ इन लाइन रहते हैं थ्रू आउट योर सोर्सिंग पीरियड। उसके अंदर वो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस को देखते हैं, उसके अंदर वो बिड्स की फ्लक्चुएशन को देखते हैं, वो सारी चीजें उसके अंदर करते हैं। एंड लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट आर द एडवांस नेगोशिएशन टाइम। You can create requests for information on the system just so you can become a technical strong buyers. Then you can create your RFPs जिसके अंदर आप different proposals आ सकते हैं। इसके अंदर examples अगर आप देखें तो जो seal bidding की आपके examples है, single stage, 2 envelopes, 2 stage, 2 envelopes, वो सब इसके अंदर आपके पास advanced negotiation types के अंदर आ जाती है। Then you can create an auction, और ऑप्शन के अंदर यू कैन क्रिएट इंडेक्स ऑप्शनिंग, आपको टोटल कॉस्ट ऑफ ओनरशिप मिल जाती है जो भी चीज आप ऑप्शन करते हैं। डायनामिक एनवायरनमेंट है, इसको हम सिस्टम पे भी देखेंगे कि किस तरीके से प्राइसिंग चेंज होती है, किस तरीके से कंपटीशन क्रिएट होता है ऑन डिफरेंट लाइन आइटम। These are the few solutions जो कि SAP Ariba ऑफर करता है। They are not only limited to your sourcing but your full source to settle पेमेंट तक आपका जो पूरा प्रोसेस है वो SAP Ariba के थ्रू कैटर किया जा सकता है। For supplier management, we have SAP Ariba Supplier Lifecycle and Performance, जिसके ऊपर हमने in-depth session रखा हुआ है on 3rd of December. Mars Yunus will be leading that, और उसके अंदर आपको supplier lifecycle and performance के ऊपर सारी details मिल जाएगी, आप उसको भी join कर सकते हैं। Today we will be focusing on SAP Ariba Sourcing, जो कि strategic sourcing का एक बहुत important tool है। इसके अंदर आपके पास options आ जाती हैं, RFI आ जाती है, RFP आ जाती है। You not only do auctions to buy, but you can do auctions to sell. इसके अंदर आपके पास SAP Ariba कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आ जाता है जो कि जैज ने Abacus Consulting से लिया है, और इट वाज द ओनली एंड फर्स्ट प्रोजेक्ट इन द पाकिस्तान जिसके अंदर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स इंप्लीमेंट किया गया है। फास्टर कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग साइकिल, आपके लीगल रिव्यूज, आपके वेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट्स फ्रॉम फाइनेंस, फ्रॉम डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स, और वो सारे इसके अंदर आपके कवर किए जाते हैं। Then moving forward towards supply chain, you can have supply chain collaboration. For procurement, you can have SAP Ariba buying. आप अपने POs, multiple POs against your PR. Then you have SAP Ariba commerce automation, जिसके थ्रू आप अपनी ERPs को, अपनी SAP ERPs को S4HANA को directly Ariba network के साथ connect कर सकते हैं। Then for financial supply chains, we have SAP Ariba Payables, SAP Ariba Invoice Management. आपको कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कंप्लायंस मिल जाती है, जो आपको इनवॉइस आई है क्या वो आपके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के साथ कंप्लायंट है, जो आपने पीओ भेजा था उसके साथ रिकंसाइल्ड है कि नहीं है. These are the few solutions जो कि SAP ऑफर करता है, और Abacus have the capabilities to implement all these solutions in your organization. Going forward, ये एक स्टैटिकल ग्राफ है, इसके अंदर आपके पास ये एक स्लाइड है, इसके अंदर we will be discussing the stats, जो numbers हमें ऑब्जर्व हुए हैं अब तक जहाँ पे भी SAP Ariba इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया है, तो उसके ऊपर हम डिस्कस करते हैं कि वो किस तरीके से वैल्यू आपके ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर ऐड करता है. तो जो आपका सोर्स टू पे का साइकिल है, उसके अंदर हमने देखा कि द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस दैट आर यूजिंग SAP Ariba और SAP Ariba Supplier Lifecycle and Management and different modules saved 89 to 69 to 83% onboarding cycle time for their suppliers. Then we observed 36 to 48% fewer compliance and risk management issues. Majority of the time when your spend is managed, we observed that your transactions are really compliant to what your organization's practices. Then we observed 50 to 70% faster transaction cycle for both buyers and suppliers. इसके अंदर अगर हम सोर्सिंग की बात करते हैं, तो ओनली बाय सोर्सिंग एंड कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग वी ऑब्जर्व के 4 to 15% एवरेज यूनिट प्राइस के अंदर रिडक्शन आई है, बेस्ड ऑन द स्ट्रेटजी यू आर मेकिंग, बेस्ड ऑन द प्रोडक्ट्स यू आर सोर्सिंग. With better planning and forecasting tool from SAP Ariba, we observed 4 to 12% lower days in inventory. आपकी इन्वेंट्री के अंदर जो उसकी इन्वेंट्री की कमी हो रही है, जो भी आ रहा है वो बेहतर किया जा रहा है. 5 to 15% इन्वेंट्री राइट ऑफ हमें इसके अंदर हमने देखा जब हमने इसको बेटर प्लानिंग और फोरकास्टिंग की यूजिंग SAP Ariba. Then for the buying and delivery, we observed 3% improvement in project completion on budget. आपके प्रोजेक्ट बजट के अंदर रहे, उनसे बाहर नहीं गए. ज्यादातर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के अंदर ये भी इशू फेस किया जाता है कि जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं वो बजट से आउट चले जाते हैं या बहुत ज्यादा अंडर बजट चले जाते हैं. फिर इनवॉइसिंग के अंदर हमने देखा कि $2 to 3 million सेविंग पर $1 billion ऑफ टारगेट. तो these were the numbers जहाँ जहाँ पे SAP Ariba implement किया गया, which is 87% of the Fortune 500 companies and 97 of the Fortune 100 companies. उन्होंने जब SAP Ariba को इम्प्लीमेंट किया, वहां से जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस मिली उनके थ्रू हमें ये नंबर्स मिले. सो ओवरऑल अगर देखा जाए तो 40 to 50% ऑपरेशन कॉस्ट रिड्यूस कर दी गई है, जो कि एफिशिएंसी गेन के अंदर कन्वर्ट कर दी गई है. Last but not the least, SAP Ariba, every solution of SAP Ariba provide us with the reporting tool, और उसके अंदर कुछ प्री पैकेज रिपोर्ट्स होती हैं. यहाँ पे हमारे कंसल्टेंट्स जो SAP Ariba के कंसल्टेंट्स हैं, they implement the solution. वहाँ पे वो आपके टेलर्ड रिपोर्ट्स फॉर योर नीड क्रिएट करते थे, जिससे हमने देखा कि 27 to 36% एनालाइज करने में चीज़ों को आसानी हुई है. आपकी ईयरली सेविंग, आपकी क्वार्टरली सेविंग, वो सब हम इससे एनालाइज से रियलाइज कर पाए. Then we observed 19 to 30% less time spent by IT resources. Since it's a cloud solution, you don't have to buy the different hardwares. It's just a cloud solution. You can access it from everywhere. During COVID times, जब work from home की policies आ रही थी, आपको hardware implementation, IT के designs की तरफ नहीं जाना पड़ा. You can just take your laptop anywhere and you can start sourcing from there. So before we go to Ariba integration sourcing process, integrated sourcing process, if there's any question, Hamza, please let me know. All right, I think so. There's no question so far. So as discussed earlier, SAP Ariba can be integrated with your ERP, or it can work standalone. At Jazz, we integrated our SAP Ariba contracts management with their ERP for a seamless transaction. Here I will be discussing the high-level process of an integrated sourcing process. So let's say you have an SAP S/4HANA system or any other ERP, including NetSuite, Microsoft Dynamics, or any ERP. Your buyer come to the system, your ERP, and created an unsourced requisition. So on the requisition, so any department can create a requisition. So they created a requisition that they want 100 MacBook. That requisition automatically converted into the RFQ. Supply chain took the initiative and decided where they want to go. Either they want to create a RFP for that request, or they want to create an auction. So MacBook is an item on which you can easily create an auction. They opted for an auction. So we created a sourcing event here, which is an auction. जब आप लोगों ने डिसाइड कर लिया, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने डिसाइड कर लिया कि हम इसके अगेंस्ट ऑक्शन करेंगे, तो वहां पे हमें जरूरत पेश आई कि कौन से सप्लायर्स इन्वॉल्व होंगे हमारे इसके अंदर। कुछ तो सप्लायर्स होंगे हमारे इंटरनल, सो लेट्स से वी हैव 10 suppliers who can supply us MacBook. But on SAP Ariba Discovery, we observed that there are 5,000 suppliers who can supply MacBook in Pakistan. And with a good quality, they have 5-star rating. उनका overall revenue भी better है. आपने वहाँ पे वो observe किया. So you decided to go a public event, जिसके अंदर आपके internal suppliers भी involve हों और external की तरफ से भी आप response लेना चाहते हैं. You posted your auction on a public place, which is SAP Ariba Discovery. After the internal approval, event publish हो गया. Publish होते साथ ही your supplier received the invitation through an email. You won't have to worry about it. It's an automated email. You are just monitoring the event. Fourth, we observed 5,000 suppliers on a discovery. They received an email in a one click. Once the event is published, they receive an email. You observed different responses from the international suppliers, from your external suppliers, and also observed and responses from your internal suppliers. Once आपको वो सारे responses आ गए, आप प्री ग्रेडिंग की बेस के ऊपर या पोस्ट ग्रेडिंग की बेस के ऊपर आपने अपने suppliers को evaluate किया, उनके responses को evaluate किया, which is not only on the basis of prices, but it can also be based on कि वो कितनी वारंटी दे रहे हैं, which color they are providing, what are the time limits, क्या pipelines हैं, क्या कोई 5 दिन में supplier provide कर रहा है, कोई freight tax तो नहीं पड़ेगा. उन सब चीजों के बेस के ऊपर जब आपने उनको evaluate किया, तो you won't have to worry about all the cherry picking. System did the cherry picking for you, और system ने आपको बता दिया कि these are the few suppliers जो कि best evaluated हैं आपके constraints के मुताबिक, जो आपने pre-configured किए हुए. And then we move toward the awarding. Once you awarded the supplier, यहाँ से ही supplier जो awarded suppliers उनको notification चलेगी कि you have been awarded this RFP, और उसी के against एक PO create कर दिया गया आपके ERP के अंदर. There can be multiple suppliers जो एक time पे award हो सकते हैं. It can be one supplier, it can be 2 suppliers, 3 suppliers, as many suppliers as you want. आगे demonstration के अंदर हम देखेंगे भी इसके example कि किस तरीके से multiple suppliers की codes को हम use कर सकते हैं. इस सारे प्रोसेस के अंदर सिस्टम ने ये ऑब्जर्व किया कि जो आपकी हिस्टोरिकल प्राइस थी उससे आपकी प्राइस चेंज हो गई. उसने बेंचमार्क के अगेंस्ट प्राइसिंग को जब कैलकुलेट किया तो उसने बताया कि इतनी सेविंग आपने इसमें की है, इतनी बिड्स आपको आई हैं, इतनी बिड्स चेंज हुई हैं. थ्रू आउट द प्रोसेस आपको पूरी इवेंट की रिपोर्ट मिल रही है कि क्या क्या इवेंट किस किस तरीके से चल रहा है. अगर आप इंटीग्रेटेड एनवायरनमेंट में नहीं जाते तो यू कैन क्रिएट सोर्सिंग रिक्वेस्ट ऑन योर SAP Ariba directly. At Jazz, 2,500 plus employees are creating contract requests every day on their SAP Ariba for contract authors to create contract. ये एक वीडियो है छोटी सी, इसको देखते हैं. इसके अंदर कुछ वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन के ऊपर बात है कि वो क्या वैल्यू प्रोपोजिशन है जो SAP Ariba ऑफर करता है, SAP Ariba Sourcing ऑफर करता है, और किस तरीके से आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन उसके बेनिफिट उठा सकती है.
A new CPO asked me how we can cut our costs and reduce supply risks. I told him we need to source faster and smarter. So he told me to find the answer. Luckily, I already had the right solution in mind. Ariba, an SAP company. Ariba Sourcing is the most widely adopted strategic sourcing solution on the market, and for good reason. It uses patented sourcing technologies and embedded market intelligence. This ensures we can quickly select the right suppliers and negotiate best value deals to deliver rapid and sustainable savings. Ariba Sourcing comes with the world's largest network of suppliers built in, so I can quickly locate and assess new suppliers from around the globe. It has Ariba's unique commodity market information, supplier data, and best practices, so we can make smarter sourcing decisions. Using Ariba's patented technologies, we'll be able to execute the broadest range of online sourcing events and negotiation types with unmatched speed, control, and flexibility. We'll be able to take advantage of immediate and repeatable savings and have the intelligence to better avoid unplanned risks like capacity disruptions and supplier failures. And Ariba's certified multi-tenant SaaS solution is secure, fast to deploy, and easy on our IT resources. It plugs into any ERP system to create a seamless commerce platform. If I need in-depth coaching on sourcing events, Ariba has seasoned experts on hand to help me. I can even go into Ariba's online user community to share ideas, learn about best practices from my peers. No wonder Ariba is the sourcing leader, with thousands of customers using it to source hundreds of billions of dollars annually, saving 10%, 25%, sometimes even more. In fact, millions of companies around the world use Ariba to do business better. My CPO agrees. Ariba is the clear choice.
Right. So Ariba is the clear choice for the majority of the companies, and Abacus Consulting in Pakistan is leading in the implementation of SAP Ariba in different companies. At Afiniti, we did the implementation in a record-breaking time, and the system was up and running in under 1 month. And everyone there was addressed. The change management was addressed, and everyone can create their RFPs within 5 minutes. Then let's move towards the SAP Ariba's functionality, solution capabilities. तो जब हम solution capabilities की बात करते हैं तो SAP Ariba is not a silo environment, is a public environment, is a URL based environment which can be accessed to anywhere. It can be a central repository for all your sourcing projects, for all your RFPs, for all your contracts, for all your supplier data. SAP Ariba provide us with modern dashboards जिसके अंदर आपके पास actionable tiles आ जाती हैं जो कि goal and task oriented होती हैं. इसके अंदर आप ये देख सकते हैं ये different tiles हैं जो कि आपको SAP Ariba के इंटरफेस में मिल जाती हैं. कितनी आप इवेंट अब तक कर चुके हैं, कितने इवेंट आपके कंप्लीट हो चुके हैं, कितनी RFPs आपके भी पेंडिंग सिलेक्शन में हैं, किसके ऊपर किस किस सप्लायर का रिस्पॉन्स आ गया, वो सब आपको इसके एक ही सिंगल डैशबोर्ड पे मिल जाता है. वो यूजर्स जो पावर यूजर्स हैं जो कहीं सिस्टम को आते हैं वो इससे रिपोर्टिंग से बहुत ज्यादा बेनिफिट उठा सकते हैं. पाई चार्ट्स, डिफरेंट डोनट्स और उसकी फॉर्म के अंदर उनको रिपोर्ट्स मिल जाती हैं. देन वी हैव अ पावरफुल यूनिवर्सल सर्च. इट्स जस्ट लाइक अ गूगल सर्च लेकिन फॉर योर RFPs. आप अपनी RFP का कोई नाम लिखें, उसके अंदर क्या आइटम्स थी. सो लेट्स से यू हैव क्रिएटेड 5 RFPs so far और 50 RFPs so far for iPhone 11 Pro Max. आप सिर्फ वहां पे आके 11 Pro Max मिलेंगे तो आपको 50 की 50 RFPs वहां पे मिल जाएंगे. Then we can have a search filter जिसकी बेस के ऊपर आप उसको मजीद जो है विजुलाइज कर सकते हैं, मजीद डाटा विजुलाइजेशन की तरफ जा सकते हैं. And all this can be done at the speed of HANA. HANA is an in-memory database, so SAP Ariba works on that. इसकी database is an in-memory database, not on a traditional HTTP based databases. SAP Ariba provides great value and impact your cost, quality and performance greatly in a positive way. जब हम sourcing programs की और category management की बात करते हैं, जब हम spend management की बात करते हैं, तो हमारे ज़हन में जो सबसे पहली चीज़ आती है वो आती है cost. SAP Ariba with a shorter life cycle for your sourcing can help you with your cost. Different type of RFIs, RFPs, request for quotations, आपकी auctions, dynamic environment, आपकी auctions for selling, auctions for buying, उसके अंदर 11 types के different auctions जो कि patent market के strategies को देख के बनाई गई हैं. उन सबको देखते हुए जब हम बात करते हैं तो in terms of cost saving के अंदर हमने ऑब्जर्व किया कि 4 to 15%, at even some companies we observe 10 to 25% of the savings in the form of cost. जो आपकी क्वालिटी है प्रोडक्ट की, आपकी RFPs की क्वालिटी है, सिंस आपके सारे स्टैंडर्ड्स जो आपकी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं उसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाता है इसके ऊपर. कंसल्टेंट्स टेक देयर टाइम इन मैपिंग योर प्रोसेसेस, आपके प्रोसेसेस को अंडरस्टैंड करके इसको इम्प्लीमेंट किया जाता है. तो क्वालिटी इज द मेजर गोल एट एबेकस कंसल्टिंग. We only work at the quality. अगर कोई प्रोजेक्ट हमारी क्वालिटी के मेयार तक नहीं पहुंचता तो हम उसको मजीद बेहतर करते हैं और हम वहां पे रुक नहीं जाते, मजीद बेहतर का हमेशा विंडो रहती है फॉर क्वालिटी. और इन टर्म्स ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस, अगर आपके पास शॉर्टर टाइम से आपका साइकिल होगा, आपके पास एक्सपर्ट जो बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस सेंटर के एक्सपर्ट हैं वो आपके साथ इन लाइन होंगे, तो योर परफॉर्मेंस कैन बी बेटर, योर सिस्टम परफॉर्मेंस कैन बी बेटर. डाउन द लाइन आपने कोई चीज सर्च करनी है वो आपको जल्दी मिल जाती है. कोई RFPs आपने पहले बनाई नहीं, आप उनको कॉपी कर सकते हैं, सब कुछ कर सकते हैं. So in terms of cost, quality and performance, we have seen a huge impact. SAP Ariba had a great value in these terms. All right, so SAP Ariba comes with the integrated supplier discovery for everyone and it's a free tool. SAP Ariba Discovery पे you can find 7.6 million plus suppliers around from 190 countries, around 20,000 different categories. So if you want to buy a MacBook Air, let's say, you can find 5,000 suppliers. You want to buy a valves, your pressure valves, you want to buy a crude oils, you can find 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 suppliers based on the your commodity, based on your categories. His supplier key onboarding is very easy through SAP Ariba Discovery. You have an internal supplier which are pre-qualified. It stays on your SAP Ariba Solutions. Then you have an external suppliers on SAP Ariba Discovery. वो वहीं पे रहते हैं जब तक आप उनको अपने सिस्टम पे नहीं लेके आते. आप उनको evaluate करते हैं on SAP Ariba Discovery. Once they are evaluated, you can onboard those suppliers in your system. उनका यूनिफाइड डैशबोर्ड है. सिंगल क्लिक के ऊपर जो चीज SAP Ariba पे सप्लायर चेंज करते हैं, NTN नंबर, कुछ ट्रांजैक्शंस उसने की, कोई उसको रेटिंग मिली, वो सब ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के लिए रिफ्लेक्ट करती जाती है. उसके अंदर कुछ POCs चेंज होते हैं तो वो सब रिफ्लेक्ट करती है. तो SAP Ariba Discovery को यूज करते हुए you can find a better source of suppliers. You can engage international suppliers, your external suppliers, and you can make an onboarding of your supplier is very easy. I see there's a question on a question deck. Let's see. So we have Syed Musharraf Abbas saying, is it cover PEPRA rules? Yes. SAP Ariba sourcing covers all the PEPRA rules. Advertisement and everything is covered. What about supplier training and support, as you have pretty level of our suppliers? All right, so in Pakistan, at Pell, at Jazz, when we implemented SAP Ariba Solutions, the very first challenge we faced was the change management of the suppliers, supplier trainings and everything. So SAP Ariba consultants from Abacus Consulting stays at your organization, and they observe all your suppliers' activities, they train them, and that's how we address the supplier trainings and support. For the suppliers that are sitting in Pakistan, even from Lahore, there's a Hall Road, there's a Hafiz Center, you can find those suppliers on SAP Ariba Network now. SAP Ariba Network is growing day by day. So I hope this answered your question. We can have more discussion about this at the end of this session. Right. So as discussed earlier, SAP Ariba sourcing की जो कुछ टेक्नोलॉजीज और एक्सपर्टीज हैं कि उसका जो पूरा प्रोसेस फ्लो है वो किस तरीके से चलता है. तो सबसे पहले तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आइडेंटिफाई करती हैं देयर अपॉर्चुनिटीज, देयर सप्लायर्स, और अपनी एक पाइपलाइन को डिफाइन कर देती हैं कि दीज आर द पाइपलाइन जिसकी बेस के ऊपर हमने अपनी कुछ सोर्सिंग करनी है. When they come to SAP Ariba, they create the sourcing project. Sourcing project can cover all your PEPRA rules or your government rules, जो भी आपकी organization के best practices है, best standards हैं, उन सारों को follow करती हैं. And then you can create a RFP using those standards, following those standards. Once you created the RFPs, SAP Ariba experts are in line with you. They help you with the best practices available to source anything. And then once you publish your RFP, your supplier is available for responses and reviews. You evaluate those responses, and all those responses come to you through an online portal which is dedicated for SAP Ariba suppliers. Once you receive the electronic bid, you evaluate your suppliers and you then award your supplier by a single click. All your constraints जो आपकी organization कुछ constraints follow करती है, वो सारे के सारे ऑलरेडी SAP Ariba पे कॉन्फ़िगर कर दिए जाते हैं, और वो सिंगल क्लिक के ऊपर उनको आप अवॉर्ड कर सकते हैं बेस्ड ऑन योर स्टैंडर्ड कंस्ट्रेंट्स. और इसके साथ साथ इवेंट का पूरा एनालिसिस चलता है. आपके पूरे जितने भी RFP चल रही हैं उन सब का पूरा एनालिसिस चलता है. और ये जो SAP Ariba टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज करता है, जिस तरह पहले बताया गया कि वो एट द स्पीड ऑफ HANA काम करता है, तो जैसे जैसे आपकी बिड्स आती जाती है वैसे वैसे आपकी रिपोर्ट्स चेंज होती जाती हैं. डायनामिक रिपोर्ट्स हैं, एवरी टाइम यू रिसीव अ न्यू बिड आपकी रिपोर्ट चेंज हो जाती है. ऑलराइट, आई थिंक सो फार एवरीथिंग इज क्लियर. किसी का क्वेश्चन है तो काइंडली वो ड्रॉप कर दें क्वेश्चन मार्क में, सो वी कैन एड्रेस दैट.
Thus we do have a question from Malik bro.
Okay. So I think it's a long question. If we can address it at the end of the session, then I think it would be better, right? So we will address this question at the end of the session. Thank you. Okay. So for the auction, जिसमें बताया गया कि SAP Ariba has an auction capabilities. तो इसके अंदर अगर आप देखें, it's a dynamic environment and this organization ran their auction for color printers. इसके अंदर initially आप देखें तो आपको at 7:14 PM you received a price of 3,670 euros. At the end of the event, which is at 7:23, price has been dropped dramatically and it's 3,341 euros per line item. It's a lead bid. So on the left you can see the graph. इसके अंदर आपको real time information मिल जाती है. So आप देख सकते हैं कि historical price जो थी वो यहाँ पे 3,900 was the historical price, जो कि अब आपको प्राइस मिली जो कि स्टार्ट हुई अराउंड 3,670 और वो किस तरीके से ग्राफ कंपटीशन के थ्रू नीचे जाता है. तो ये ऑब्जर्व किया गया डिफरेंट ऑप्शंस के अंदर. एट पहल जब ऑप्शंस की गई तो हमने ये ऑब्जर्व किया कि किस तरीके से ड्रामेटिकली प्राइस नीचे की जाती है फॉर नॉट ओनली फॉर आइटम्स बट फॉर सर्विसेज एज वेल. ये एक बिट ग्राफ है, उसकी एक एग्जांपल है. इस तरह ये रेड लाइन में आपको आपकी हिस्टोरिकल प्राइस नजर आ रही है, उसको बेंचमार्क बना के आपकी जो ग्राफ है वो आपको आपकी पोटेंशियल सेविंग्स काउंट करके दे रहा है. पोटेंशियल सेविंग्स फ्रॉम your internal suppliers, potential savings from your external suppliers, और ये डायनामिकली एवरी बिट के साथ सब चेंज किया जाता है. Alright, so before we move here, let's see if we have any other question. No, we don't have any question. Right. So SAP Ariba sourcing is not just about the prices. So for example, you are buying an item जिसके अंदर सप्लायर ने आपको प्राइस कोड की 510. This can be a least price, बहुत nominal amount हो सकती है, अपनी $5-10 वो प्राइस प्रोवाइड कर रहा है, लेकिन मे बी दैट सप्लायर इज बेस्ड इन जर्मनी और जर्मनी से पाकिस्तान आने के लिए उसकी कोई कॉस्ट है, या जर्मनी से वो दुबई जाने के लिए उसकी कोई कॉस्ट है. तो वो जो डिलीवरी चार्जेस है वो इसके अंदर इंक्लूडेड नहीं है सो फार. सो फॉर इन अरीबा वी हैव एक्स्ट्रा कॉस्ट जिसके अंदर आपकी डिलीवरी कॉस्ट आ जाती है, आपकी फ्रेट चार्जेस आ जाते हैं, आपके टैक्स आ जाते हैं, आपकी टोटल प्राइस का ब्रेकडाउन आ जाता है कि सप्लायर इस टोटल कॉस्ट तक किस तरीके से पहुंचे. क्या उसके अंदर कोई उसने वारंटी एडिशनल डाली है, क्या उसके अंदर डिफरेंट चीजें हैं, अगर आप कोई एडिशनल वारंटी डाल रहे हैं तो उसकी कितनी कॉस्ट है, वो सारी चीजें भी SAP Ariba के अंदर कवर की जा सकती है. नॉट ओनली दैट, यू कैन क्रिएट अ फॉर्मूलाज कि अगर तो इन्वेंट्री का टाइम 5 डेज से ज्यादा है, वो 5 डेज के बाद डिलीवर कर रहा है, तो ऑटोमेटिकली उसकी प्राइस के अंदर 1% आप ऐड कर दें. अगर वो 5 डेज से कम कर रहा है तो उसकी प्राइस के अंदर आप इन्वेंट्री कॉस्ट कोई ऐड ना करें. इसी तरह आप ऑटोमेटिकली आपके एंड पे भी कुछ फॉर्मूलाज, कुछ फैक्टर्स इफेक्ट हो रहे हो सकते हैं लेट डिलीवरीज की बेस के ऊपर, आप वो फॉर्मूलाज SAP Ariba पे क्रिएट कर सकते हैं. Consultants, when they come for an implementation, they address all these formulas, extra cost, pricing, स्कोरिंग आपकी कैसी है, आपकी प्री ग्रेडिंग एग्जिस्ट करती है. अगर कोई 1 ईयर की वारंटी प्रोवाइड कर रहा है तो 10 पॉइंट्स है, अगर कोई 2 इयर्स की प्रोवाइड कर रहा है तो उसकी 15 पॉइंट्स है. तो वो पॉइंट्स प्री ग्रेडेड आपको वहां पे मिल जाते हैं और फिर उसके बाद आप उन्हीं पॉइंट्स को दोबारा रिव्यूअर को भी भेज सकते हैं कि ये पॉइंट्स है प्री ग्रेडेड, कोई इसके अंदर चेंज तो नहीं एड्रेस करना. या इसके अलावा आपको कोई ऑप्शंस आई, उसके अंदर कुछ टेक्निकल ड्राइंग्स आई, आपने कुछ वेल्स मंगवाए हुए थे, उनकी कुछ स्पेसिफिकेशंस आई, तो वो टेक्निकल डिपार्टमेंट से आपने उनको रिव्यू करवाना है, उनको अप्रूव करवाना है. तो सिस्टम एड्रेस दैट एट लाइन आइटम लेवल, एट वेल्व लेवल, बिल्कुल लीस्ट लेवल पे जाके भी आप उनको रिव्यू और अप्रूवल के लिए सेट कर सकते हैं. एंड देन लास्ट बट नॉट द लीस्ट वी हैव अ सिनेरियोस. बिल्ट इन सिनेरियोस होते हैं जिसके अंदर आपकी कंपनी के सारे कंस्ट्रेंट्स आ रहे होते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, यू हैव 5 सप्लायर इनवाइटेड फॉर योर सोर्सिंग इवेंट. हर सप्लायर ने एक एक आइटम के अंदर लीस्ट प्राइस दी, लेकिन बाकी प्राइसिंग उनकी फ्लक्चुएट करती है. You decided to go for the least priced item with every supplier. That's fairly simple and possible in a single click. आपने कहा कि 5 सप्लायर को अवॉर्ड कर दो और उनकी जो सबसे कम प्राइसिंग है ना उसके ऊपर अवॉर्ड. तो लीडिंग प्राइस की बेस के ऊपर आप सिस्टम को यूज करते हुए सिंगल क्लिक के ऊपर अवॉर्ड कर सकते हैं और उसकी अगेंस्ट आपको पूरी रिपोर्टिंग भी सिस्टम पे मिल जाती है. ये कुछ क्लाइंट्स हैं मीना रीजन के अंदर जो SAP Ariba यूज कर रहे हैं और जो SAP Ariba से बेनिफिट्स उठा रहे हैं, जिसके अंदर हमारे पास नाम आता है UEB का, जो कि सप्लायर लाइफ साइकिल परफॉर्मेंस एंड SAP Ariba Sourcing को यूज कर रहे हैं. Afiniti जो SAP Ariba Sourcing को यूज कर रहे हैं. Jazz, Tel, Engro, K Electric, these are the few names जो कि SAP Ariba को frequently यूज कर रहे हैं for their sourcing and procurement capabilities. अगर पाक इलेक्ट्रॉन लिमिटेड की बात की जाए कि उधर हमें क्या चैलेंजेस फेस आए, उनका क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव था, उनको किस तरीके से रिजॉल्व किया, तो पाक इलेक्ट्रॉन लिमिटेड ट्रांसफॉर्म देयर सोर्सिंग थ्रू SAP Ariba Sourcing Solution. The challenge we observed there was कि वहाँ पे standardized और automated process नहीं था. Every user from different department had their best practices to do the sourcing, but organization want a standard single solution और एक single standard best practices को use करते हुए करना चाह रहे थे. Then they wanted to increase their savings with the help of auction. They wanted to increase their supplier base. तो इन सबको resolve करने के लिए we went there, we implemented SAP Ariba Sourcing there, and we realized their savings. They realized their saving, and they've been using the SAP Ariba solution for more than 2 years. Then at Afiniti Software Solutions, we went for a more efficient way. Efficiency लेके आनी थी उनकी global sourcing के अंदर. Shorter sourcing cycle था. It usually took them 2 to 3 days to create a sourcing event. And once the sourcing event created, उसके ऊपर जो pricing आती थी, उसको analyze करने के अंदर उनके 2 से 3 दिन लग जाते थे. तो वो shorter sourcing cycle की तरफ गए. Affinity में हमें ये चैलेंज था कि हमें इसको as soon as possible हम इसको इम्प्लीमेंट करें. क्वालिटी को मद्देनजर रखते हुए Affinity के अंदर सिस्टम को 25 डेज के अंदर इम्प्लीमेंट कर दिया गया, जिसके अंदर सारे चेंज मैनेजमेंट को एड्रेस किया गया. फिर बेटर स्पेंड मैनेजमेंट, फिर डिस्कवरिंग द न्यू सोर्स ऑफ सप्लाई उनका एक ऑब्जेक्टिव था, और अल्टीमेटली उनका ऑब्जेक्टिव था इंक्रीजिंग सेविंग, एंड दे आर वर्किंग ऑन SAP Ariba is helping them to increase their saving, और ऑलरेडी उनके सोर्सिंग साइकिल के अंदर वो एफिशिएंसी ले आए. Then at Jazz, we implemented SAP Ariba Contracts Management. At Jazz, जहाँ यहाँ पे एक प्रोसेस था कि PO उस टाइम तक इशू नहीं किया जा सकता जब तक सप्लायर के साथ आपकी कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग फाइनलाइज नहीं करती. Then they wanted a central repository जहाँ पे Jazz आने वाले अपने 50 years का डेटा सेव करे, और सिस्टम ना स्लो हो और ना सिस्टम पे वो किसी भी टाइम एट एनी गिवन मोमेंट वो 2018 का डाटा देखना चाहते हैं, वो 2000 का डाटा देखना चाहते हैं, 2002 का डाटा देखना चाहते हैं. उनको सारे कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक सेंट्रल रिपोजिटरी के अंदर मेंटेन करना. देन उनको अपने जो कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग के प्रोसेस थे उनको स्टैंडर्डाइज करना था. लीगल से वेटेड डॉक्यूमेंट्स थे जो कि अगेन बार बार लीगल के पास जाते थे फॉर रिव्यू, ने उसको स्टैंडर्डाइज करना था. मिनिमम मैन पावर के अंदर, मिनिमम वर्कफोर्स के अंदर they wanted to enhance the communication with the supplier और simplified contracting की तरफ they wanted to move. तो वहाँ पे हमने SAP Ariba contract implement किया. इस चैलेंज के साथ साथ जो जैस पे हमें सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज था वो था कि we not only implemented SAP Ariba contract management there, but we also had to integrate it with Oracle NetSuite. For that, I would like to ask Hamza कि वो अपने कुछ challenges बताए जो उन्होंने वहाँ पे being an integration consultant, जो उन्होंने जैस के अंदर challenges face किए, और उनको उन्होंने किस तरीके से cater किया being an SAP solution at one end and at Oracle solution at second end. Please, Hamza.
Thank you, Murtaz, for calling me. And as Murtaz has already mentioned, that it was the first SAP implementation in Jazz. So there were a couple of challenges that we faced. The first one, and the major one, was that the ERP environment was totally customized. Because Jazz, they are pro customer from Oracle, so their web services were customly built, and the ERP was having too much customization. Secondly, the sourcing process and the contract process in Jazz, they run separately, which was the kind of a major reason for the delay in POs. So in Jazz, basically the process is that we can issue PO only when there is fully signed contract and the supplier's quotation on RFP. So all these documentation process, they were time taking and leading towards the slow progress. So what we did, what Abacus did, is that we integrated Oliver ERP sourcing module with the SAP Ariba contracts. We did it with the help of web services. So Ariba provides its best practice web services and also give us the opportunity so that we can customize it, we can create or we can enhance those web services through the middleware. So as a result, we were able to run both process simultaneously, sourcing and contracts. So they were contracts author who engage all the stakeholders into a single collaborative environment. Then we have DocuSign implemented over there, which is actually to help you digitally sign your documents. So after that, it's published along its header fields. It is reflected in Oracle ERP. So once the ERP is finalized, then we can issue a PO anytime. So the bottom line and the conclusion is that the contracts were finalized before the RFPs, after implementing Ariba. So now, because of these advantages, Jazz is now leaning towards SAP, and alhamdulillah, they are looking for different SAP solutions. So moving to Murtaz.
Right. Thank you so much, Hamza, for sharing your experience with us. And I hope that all the integrated processes run smoothly under your control.
Sure, inshallah, sure.
On the next slide, we have United Energy and United Energy of Pakistan. They transformed their sourcing and supplier lifecycle with SAP Ariba Solutions. For that, we have to discuss this in detail. We have Mr. Abdul Ahad with us. He's a senior procurement operations and excellent officer at UEP. He has been leading SAP Ariba at UEP and has a sound knowledge of Ariba portfolios. I would like to invite Ahad to share what has been key takeaway of realized value proposition of Ariba products and what made UEP opt Ariba as their procurement solutions. Over to you, Ahad.
Thank you, Murtaz, for the introduction. And I won't take too long, everyone. Just wanted to give you a brief description of our SAP Ariba journey that we started in 2019. So initially, we were looking for a solution which would address our concerns regarding having a centralized location for e-sourcing and then also have additional system-based controls, and then just overall enhancing our process efficiency in terms of turning a purchase requisition into an RFQ and then turning that into a purchase order as soon as possible, and then in the most efficient way. So we had explored quite a few solutions, but I think in the end we were more leaning towards SAP Ariba because of the huge supplier base they already have, and the fact that worldwide this is being used by multiple suppliers, and that's one of our main objective as well, that we wanted to enhance our supplier base as well. So we thought that we should go for a system which is already being used by the entire world, so that at least, which is the main important part, is the supplier onboarding process for these systems, because at the end of the day these systems are more used by your suppliers than by you. So this was one of the deciding factors for us. And then obviously we researched the market on who was the best implementation partner for the bringing this software on. So we spoke to a couple of clients, and they were all leaning towards Abacus, because I think Abacus has been doing this for quite some time now, and their expertise is second to none in terms of handling the technical side of Ariba, and then just after sales support as well as the best in class so far. So we began our journey for implementing Ariba Sourcing back in, I think, 2019 January, and then within 3 months we had implemented it across the entire organization. So now, just to give you some figures, previously our RFPs were averaging around, I would say, 10 to 12 days, but through Ariba's implementation, we have managed to bring that down to 5 to 6 days. Considering all the internal processes that we have, we've built all of that into Ariba. And not only that, in terms of, I just appreciate the way that the Abacus team had handled the implementation, because from the very start, they didn't come with an agenda that, this is the way to implement the software, these are the best industry practices. They first listened to our entire requirement. They studied our processes quite deeply, and then they proposed a solution in terms of integrating it with the best practices that they knew. So I feel like that was very important from implementation side, because you need to have that clarity when you're going towards completely new software, and obviously addressing that change management process as well. And in terms of supplier onboarding, these guys were like pulling all-nighters almost every day, especially during after our go live date with Ariba Sourcing. And yes, there was a lot of hand holding with the suppliers initially, because obviously you can understand that since UEP is a wide-based company, I mean, we have suppliers ranging from international-based suppliers like Schlumberger or Weatherford, from local suppliers sitting in interior Sindh who have literally not even the basic access to internet. So you can imagine the sort of onboarding process that these guys helped us with. I think that was very important in the sense because they not only guided them to just the basic steps of like setting up their IDs and passwords and whatnot, but actually participating in our RFPs in the best possible manner. I think that was very crucial to our the success of our implementation. And so far, I think we've done a pretty great job in terms of bringing. I think we brought on around 80 to 90% of our entire supplier base on Ariba, and so far we've seen a lot of other sides of Ariba that have benefited us as well. So like Murtaz mentioned, quite a few features in terms of reverse auctioning and then bringing on new suppliers to Ariba discovery. I think reverse auctioning has been the most beneficial for us because for certain standard items which we previously thought that it can't really bring us any more cost optimization within those categories, we sort of just did a test run where we posted an inquiry for tires. So as you can understand, it's a very basic commodity, and I mean everyone has standard rates for that. But through reverse auctioning, we sort of saw at least a 20 to 25% saving in that. I think it's more to do with the fact that since it's a live event and the supplier is getting instant feedback on his proposals, I think they sort of it encourages them to sort of bring their costs lower so that they can get that award for that contract. Because when you have that instantaneous feedback with the suppliers, they sort of understand that look, there is another competitor who might just beat my rank for that specific bid. So I think that's the very most important feature which was an initial deciding factor for us as well when we were going for Ariba, which we didn't really see in any other e-sourcing solution. Then after Ariba's implementation, we further tried to explore Ariba's entire platform, and we found that not only can we like manage your entire RFP process on Ariba, but we can also integrate our entire supply management process within Ariba through supplier lifecycle and performance. And thanks to our lead consultant from Abacus side, Maz Yunus, he literally from the get-go, he brought on some amazing ideas and literally helped us in like revolutionizing our supplier management process from the very get-go. And I think the great thing about Abacus's team is that they never really hand the system over to you like fully in the sense that this is what you have to do from now on and you're on your own. So they keep supporting you like from the start to the end, and they're always there even when you have basic troubleshooting tasks. I mean, they're always supportive in that sense. But for supplier lifecycle, we entirely revamped our entire existing supply management process. And now, back in October, we went live with SLP, and it's now integrated with the Ariba Sourcing. So all our pre-qualification and supplier categorization is all being done through Ariba now. So it's a pretty great integrated system, and we're obviously seeing the benefits now. And moving forward, we hope we can further explore it and get into the contract solutions as well. But overall, I think whoever is like attending this webinar today, I think the important takeaway factor for you should be that as an organization, whatever objective you have to bring on a new system or a new process, just always remember that the right partner can make the difference. Because a system at the end of the day is a standard solution. It doesn't really do much unless you have someone who will guide you through the entire process and make you realize what are the benefits of you configuring the system this way or that way. It all depends on how you go about it. But in short, I think to summarize everything, we've had a great experience with the Abacus from the start, and I hope to keep this relationship going for the coming future. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Ahad bhai, for sharing your experience with us. We are really happy to learn that you are very satisfied with your SAP Ariba solutions, and we are looking forward to implement more solutions in your company. And thank you for choosing Abacus as your transformation partner for SAP Ariba. All right, thank you. So before we go to the system to see the demo, I think we should take questions. And if you have any questions, or if you want to have an in-depth session on SAP Ariba sourcing, you can always contact on these details. So Imran Hemani is our sales lead. Javed Iqbal is practice area leader for SAP Ariba. You can contact me through the given email address, or you can contact Hamza Ghani Qureshi. He's an integration consultant and also an SAP Ariba sourcing, and different modules are come under his domain. So feel free to contact us on the given details. If you have any question, we would like to take them now. So for the question that we parked earlier, let's see what we have. All right, so for Hamad Iqbal, so before Hamad Iqbal, we can see. Sayyid Musharraf, I saw that you had a question earlier, but I cannot seem to find that. If you would like to ask one again, you can type it. And for Hamad Iqbal, I have a concern about Ariba Pay. Alright, so हमारा जिस तरह आपका क्वेश्चन है कि अरीबा पे के बारे में, so majority of the companies in Pakistan for the financial purposes are using their own ERPs, जो कि SAP S/4HANA हो सकती हैं, जो कि NetSuite हो सकती है, Microsoft Dynamics हो सकती हैं, SailPoint हो सकती हैं, different ERPs वो for the pay cycle वो use कर रहे हैं. लेकिन we have few examples of SAP Ariba Pay जो कि international market के अंदर use किया जा रहा है. लेकिन for Pakistan, I think so SAP Ariba Pay is not yet. इसके ऊपर अगर SAP की तरफ से हमारे साथ रमीज ऐड हैं, अगर वो इसके ऊपर कुछ वैल्यू ऐड करना चाहें कि SAP Ariba. So the question is कि SAP Ariba के ऊपर पाकिस्तान के अंदर कोई फ्यूचर स्कोप या उसके ऊपर कोई रिमार्क्स अगर मिल सकें SAP की तरफ से. So Ramiz is on the line, if he can address this question.
अच्छा, thank you so much for handing it over to me. By future इनका मतलब था कि क्या exact question में दोबारा repeat कर देंगे?
Yes, so the question is I have a concern about Ariba Pay. I came to know that normally customers do not purchase Ariba Pay because S/4HANA is implemented there. Therefore, clients normally perform their financial transactions through SAP S/4HANA. Please give your remark as far as Ariba Pay. Is it beneficial where standalone implementation of Ariba is available, or it can also be beneficial where SAP S/4HANA implementation is?
ठीक है, देखिए Ariba Pay can be beneficial in both scenarios, but the challenge is कि Ariba Pay also requires your bank integrations and other processes to be integrated as well, which in Pakistan we see that banks are, or I would say financial institutes are moving towards technology adoption and opening up their platforms. So in future, yes, we see it as a really good field, or I would say a really good process that can be automated. But in current situation, I would say yes, it will take time to mature up. But as an overall perspective, it enhances value when you are having S/4HANA, and if you are not having S/4HANA or any big backend ERP, it actually completes the process of procure to pay.
All right, hope this answers your question, Hamad. And we had another question, which was what about supplier trainings and support, as you know, literacy level in our country. Obviously for that, I think so when Ahad shared their experiences of the suppliers from this supplier enablement, supplier training from the suppliers that are based in the Sindh, interior Sindh. So what we really do at Abacus is that we had held you throughout your sourcing period. और जितने भी आपके सप्लायर्स हैं उनको इसके ऊपर इनेबल किया जाता है, उनको ट्रेन किया जाता है, उनके यूजर्स वो किस तरीके से RFP में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, किस तरीके से ऑक्शन में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं। लेकिन विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम ऑलमोस्ट ऑल योर सप्लायर्स एक दफा के बाद वो इसके ऊपर इनेबल हो जाते हैं। तो वी हैव ऑब्जर्व्ड कि ऑलमोस्ट जितने भी सप्लायर्स आइदर लोकल और इंटरनेशनल कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ SAP Ariba Sourcing or any solution. और दूसरा कि is it cover PEPRA rules? Yes, SAP Ariba covers PEPRA rules. Right, so if we have any more question here. So if you would like to ask any more questions, please do. If not, if you want to have a session with us, one-to-one session with us in which you would like to explore systems functionalities or capabilities more, please do contact us on these given details. And for the next webinar, we have planned our webinar on SAP Ariba Supplier Lifecycle and Performance, which will be led by Maz Yunus, is on Thursday, December 3rd, 2020. So we will be sharing those links on our LinkedIn as well. So kindly join if you are interested in learning more about SLP. We have